So hello everyone and welcome back to Team&Play, to another February WARNO Monthly Tournament game, as we are here between Team&Plays and fantyx, two of the contenders for the champion title of the WARNO Monthly, as both these players are still unbeaten so far, and the only other player who is still unbeaten after 3 rounds is Hippie. So these two players unbeaten after 2 rounds. If one of these players can win this match, they will for sure play Hippie next week and play for the title. If they draw, their chances of winning the whole thing are depending on other people's results next week, if they can get the win there. So really interesting matchup, and really top level players as well, both with good results in previous tournaments. fantyx obviously second place in the last WARNO League Super Tournament. As we have a pretty interesting matchup as well. fantyx on the left side, bringing around 79th Guards Tank Corps, and tmanplays on the right side, bringing around 7th Panzer Division. So two quite cool divisions there as well, as we are going into all of this now. And yeah, Pact versus Pact, Soviet Union versus NVA under the GDR, as the 7th Panzer for sure is quite potent, but it is all around the cost efficiency and like the good amount of T-72s, whilst 79th has that really high top end with TADUs, with Buratinos, with good helicopters, with the MiG-31 in the skies. That makes it so scary. Also has BMP-2s, whilst on the other side you only have BMP-1s, but the T-72 is a really cost-efficient tank. And you also have some strong CQC infantry with the flamethrower infantry as some that is really cost-efficient. And you have those Spezialaufklärers in the front line, so it should be quite interesting. Also, if you want to get yourself into some tournament action and you want to play some team game tournaments, there is another Friday Night WARNO coming up next Friday on the 3rd of March. This time in March we start at the beginning of the month with the Friday Night WARNO. As I'm gonna be joined by Derek this time around, and we're gonna talk a bit about his job for Eugen and all the stuff regarding balance and so on that is currently going on. So yeah, if you want to see that, and if you want to play it yourself, click the link and sign yourself up. It's all gonna be the same format as all the other Friday Night WARNOs. 2v2 format, quick round robin tournament with some fun on a Friday night, and yeah, talking about WARNO and all the stuff around it. And yeah, well, let's go. Team&Plays really bringing in some cool stuff here with the Spezialaufklärers, but not going too deep. And also T-55A leader, which is interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of these tank leaders, as they don't have smoke. I feel like smoke is one of the biggest reasons for using leader tanks. Otherwise you could just use normal vehicle leaders. Like, their armor also is not that much better, so they still also die relatively quickly. Like, I like the T-72 leader a lot in that deck. I don't like the T-55A leader too much. The T-55A leader currently, sadly, is still on too low of an availability. That should be fixed soon, but at the moment, not really great. Team&Plays goes up to 105 points here. And here we go. Conquerors moving forward. T-62M and BMP-1 PG moving in as well. And yeah, this is hot. This is quite hot. As both players really starting slow. Superi RPO in the north. BMP-1 PG coming around here. A TAD-BVK on the way as a second CV. Kind of a backup CV here. And the TAD-BVKs should be really the standard go-to here right now to deal with T-72s, as they have a frontal armor that can eat up T-72 shots relatively decently, whilst they do enough penetrations to kill them off quite quickly. And they also have the slightly better rate of fire with the autoloader, while it's not being super much over expensive compared to the T80Us. T80Us still in the late game might be worthwhile if both sides get there, but yeah, for now you need something that is still somewhat cost efficient, as we have a good couple of T72s coming around. You have to be careful, you don't want to fight them up close. They have decent enough penetration that if they get in shorter range, they still do good damage against your tanks here. So fantyx has to be careful. The BK moving forward, the ADBV moving down south as well. Saperiapio has to fall back, Pioneer Flamethrower and Mutchison falling back as well. And Rajvetka coming up. Me-24V flying in south. On the other side, there's only one Eagle here for the beginning. In the north, one Eagle as well. Me-8 MTA has a CV in the rear. T62s can deal well again with the T55s potentially on the other side. They're not and BMP1s, they're not so fantastic against T72s, as they are just outright lower in all performances there. And they are relatively close into price to what's the normal T72. So yeah, 2 less penetration, 2 less frontal armor, 2 less rate of fire, and yeah, same accuracy, but it's a lot worse. So you really have to be somewhat careful there. T62, Spezialaufklärers getting shot up in the north, BTR 80 moving around, but tmanplays with a deep push here with the T55A, actually getting himself a +2. VRDM not moving, but the T80BBK now moving up north. Will both for killing and for helping out. Me-24 here, getting a good wipe on 2 enemy infantry units. Saperiapio dies beforehand though, but still a good shot there. Eaglas slowly moving forward, but a single Eaglas should not be capable of killing off this unit. As you should be able to react in time to get it out of line of sight of the Eagla. Eagla still potentially can zone it out if it doesn't get too close and get shot up then. Meanwhile, Motostocky Maddie's dealing some solid damage against the T72 over here, but has to be careful now as the T72 is dealing some solid damage back as well, and the Motostocky Maddie's by now relatively heavily stressed out. Will miss the next shot. Really should get the hell out of there, as it is down to 2 hit points now. T72 number 2 comes in and finishes it off. So fantyx loses in it from the unit up there. T80BV not around currently to deal with it. T80U really early on here. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, it has powerful armor, and on long range the T672s can't do much against it. SU-25 in the north pushes out the enemy CV. If Trave relatively heavily damaged, but not quite killed off. T80BBK captures his back. tmanplays on 400 points. Ooh. Motorajvetka getting eliminated there. Situation here for tmanplays slowly improving in the south a bit. As T72s are still around, getting repaired as well. Me-24 VAA now getting zoned out by the Eagla. Has to be careful there. What's the Periapio? Keep on moving forward. TDU out in the open. Conqueror's shit sitting on the other side. Good couple of T72s coming in. Really, only the baseline version. No T72M. tmanplays just going for the baseline version. Baseline version having lower accuracy and especially having lower range, which also means lower penetration on 2100 meter. The others have 90 penetration there, and so the T72 there is a lot worse than the M version, as they also have slightly better armor, or even a good bit better armor with the M1, which has 15 frontal armor. Like these T72s with 12 frontal armor really take a lot of damage from the T80BV shot at 2100 meter range. But yeah, their gun is deadly. 18 penetration for that price is freaking fantastic. And having an autoloader is also really helpful, as they're often caught in somewhat drawn out fights, especially if they fight against other medium tanks. Like Leo 185s and T62s. The AMX-30s and so on. Motorhaufklärer versus Motorstalker is fighting down here. Ooh, SPW under fire. But Motostralky not hitting with the RPG right now. T72 helping out. Motostralky really close to dying. Won't get another shot off. So that's a shame. T72 over here. Getting a shot onto the TADU. TADU currently not having line of sights. The recon units of fantyx currently not really working out. As we have more Motostralkies coming in. E24D on the other side. Dealing a good amount of damage. So Periapio will go down in a second most likely. As tmanplays is bringing in more infantry in BMP SP1, which are the ones without any ATGM. I kind of like these guys as well. They have smoke launcher at least, and they are pretty cheap. They cost you 25 points still, but they have a solid gun for dealing some damage together with the MG against infantry and light vehicles. It's not fantastic. The accuracy is pretty trash, and the range especially is really low, as it's a relatively low velocity gun. But still gives you some fighting capabilities there, whilst also normal gunfire obviously can't do anything there, so that's for sure an up. BMP1 PSP slowly moving in the south. Another Me-24D. First one did fall back again a bit, as an OSA is coming around here. And that obviously is dangerous. Motostralky coming in. The TADBVs I really enjoy. Bit more recon would be nice though. Recon currently on fantyx side, a bit lacking. And that does sometimes allow for shots of tmanplays coming out without fantyx even realizing where they came from. TADU now moved up north though, and yeah, even on a long range here, it dealt so much damage to the T72 here. 7 damage on that hit there, on 2000 meter range or so. So yeah, tmanplays has to really respect these TADUs and has to find a way for them. If too many of these get online, tmanplays has a problem. If too many of these TADUs make it around, tmanplays' position in this game will be really tough, as flanking them is hard. You have the Su-22 cluster bomber, which potentially still can kill them, but it's not gonna be easy once that happens, if that happens. So you want to keep the 79th player off that by constantly trading, constantly taxing them. tmanplays with another +2 in the north, bringing in a good amount of units. Whilst Motostralky BMP1, BMP2's coming in. And +2 for tmanplays does continue. B24VAA hitting the motor off clever, doing a good amount of damage, not quite getting the kill there. Motostralky though, that's quite a potent unit. The RPG is a 7 VR with 20 damage versus the armor of the T72 could be quite potent, especially as the T72 currently is showing side armor. Needs to rotate. Does rotate, still eats 5 damage. Motostralky are reloading. T72 reloading as well. Ooh, MGs get the Motostralky pinned. Motostralky now getting another shot off. Does miss though, as it's fully stunned out. And actually the T72 gets the kill there. Fantastic weapon there as well. Bit unfortunate though for fantyx. Fantyx with a couple too few units there maybe. TADBV now moving forward. T72 already heavily stressed out, but still trying to move around. Might catch the BMP2. Oh, 24 VAA coming in. T72 does explode there, as the Conquerors were flying as well. And the TADU still is alive up north. The far north though, bit of a problem with T55A. As more helicopters are coming in, but the 2 Iglas here should have a somewhat decent umbrella. Another one or two would be quite helpful in the south, I believe. Whilst we have an Su-22 tank trying to come around, but gets shut down. Good job by the OSA, good job by the Me-24V, I believe there. And tmanplays continues to +2 for now, which is getting into a decent advantage by now. But fantyx for sure is absolutely still in the game. And Team and Plays might need to find some more positions here. Yeah, T-72M, one more frontal armor. As I said, big thing is the better rangefinder, the better stabilizer. As it has 10% more accuracy and it has more range. So T-72M, quite a bit level up from its T-72 brethren, and only costing you 25 points more there. B-24 VAA, trying to engage the BMP once. It doesn't have a gun that can destroy these BMPs though, so it has to use rockets, and for that it needs an angle at which it can fire them. Water Strelky coming around. South still under pressure by Team and Plays. Well, we have the first Buratino shot. Here we go. The Buratino toss trying to come around for T-72. Not the most amazing spot to hit, but potentially still might kill T-72. Oh, yeah, that T-72 should be potentially toast. Yeah, there we go. Supply truck goes down as well. Buratino fired its full salvo though, so it will take a long while to recover. And you don't get that many supply trucks in 79th, so reloading this thing for too many times won't happen either. As both sides here are setting up more tanks. Igla trying to hit the Mi-8 MTA, not quite getting it. AAs from the south here, getting in some nice shots. +2 for Team and Plays. More units coming around the north. BMP2, TADBVK, B-24 VAA, and the Saperi RPO keep on moving forward as well. Saperi RPO getting the Mudschützen here. 24 VAA getting the Mudschützen as well. Once we have a couple more Motor Strelky, a couple more Dredka. This T-72, is it actually in a good spot? It won't shoot at anything right now. Not 100% sure what the plan there is for Team and Plays with that tank. Whilst we have a Mi-8 MTA actually flying towards that. Not quite up to it, so it should not quite spot it, but pretty close. So we also have some TADBs coming around. I mean, these are also still potentially, like, they have more accuracy, they have more... they have one more armor than the T-72M. And they have better rate of fire, so they still potentially should beat them. But it's a good bit closer. And actually, like, for the price difference, that's quite amazing. It's also faster, it has an ATGM and so on, but it's 65 points more, really showing you how lowly priced the T-72s are at the moment and why they are so strong for that reason. That's BMP2. Rest come around, Motor Strelky. Engaging as well as the BMP2 and the TADBVK will hit up the flamethrower infantry. That flamethrower infantry really strong, so killing any of those really good for fantyx, but the +2 is annoying. 23 minutes still remaining, so this game is far from over, as Team and Plays also has less than half the points he needs. But the advantage for Team and Plays is somewhat sizable by now. T-72M trying to hit the BMPs. One gets down by the Conquerors. Second one. Not quite falling. TDU coming around once more, and here is really the moment where these heavy tongs need to shine. T-72M in the south. Oh, might be the end for it. Yes, TADBV getting a good kill there, costing Team and Plays a good amount of points, and yeah, this high-end quality fight is where fantyx should start to put on the grind mode and should start to win the game with the TADU and the TADBV. Meanwhile, up north, TADBV relatively low on hit points. Motor Strelky moving around. 55A Fur staying around a bit further in the rear. This TADBV could potentially move forward there. Strelky nearly getting the kill. Not quite. TADB coming up as well. TADBV in the center. Doing decent amount of damage. ST-22M with ATGMs coming around. Okay. That's not a unit I have seen in a while. And if that with its 30 damage missile, hits the TADU. That would hurt. So the TADU needs to be careful there. Hopefully still has smoke, as otherwise that might be really, really critical. As the SU-22M is now stopping to loitering and actually doing its attack run. And it gets a hit. Doesn't get a kill on the TADBV, but it does get a fantastic hit. A really fantastic hit, and the MiG-31 actually finishes this off. MiG-31, absolutely scary aircraft to play against. If the enemy micros it correctly, you basically never have a shot on it, whilst it always has a shot on you. And its shot on you deals a lot of damage. It doesn't have great accuracy, so... But that makes it nearly even more frustrating to play against, because you're like, when does it hit me, when does it not hit me? That's small risk, and if then they hit twice in a row, you always feel kind of cheated. As the Buratino still aiming up onto the center here. Okay, CV in the rear. Another Conqueror's coming up. Modschützen and Modreserveaufklärer chilling out, whilst we have more Conquerors coming in for the north. Ural coming in, Uragan. Setting a flame, Buratino, with house 1, destroying these buildings. Not killing too many units with it though, as the T-72M and T-72 studies show that... What? Oh guys, I have to set up my circulatory system. Today is once more not up to par. Lol. What was I? TADB. Moving up. Just a bit daydreaming there right now. ADB moving around. Conquerors hitting them from the side. Ural coming up. Buratino needs to be reloaded. Needs to be reloaded. Yeah, Conqueror's coming in. Not quite hitting. ADB and in the fight with the T-72. Risky fights for both sides. As hits hurt both sides, but the TADB obviously gets more shots down the range. And does a bit more damage. And with that, fantyx is starting to do the work here. He is starting to thin out the T-72 lines, and that's what he needs to do. Thinning them out and getting Urals online. Risky thing is, if he reloads the Buratino too often, he might not have supplies for a long game. He might run out of supplies eventually, as the TADBs and BVs also eat up a lot of supplies. MiG-31 here coming in once more, getting the kill. SU-25 getting hit, getting killed. Motostrelki under fire as well. BMP-2 coming around. Mi-8 MTA chilling out down south. Whilst we have an SU-25 here, loitering around in the rear. Okay. What can it do? What can the SU-25 do on this run? Will it go down again? The troops are all up north, so it should be able to get through somewhat before getting hit. Iglas and Strelas coming in though. Strelas hitting, and actually the troops from all the way up north getting the kill. Yeah, I'm not too happy with how AA works at the moment. Like, if you just parking 2 AA pieces somewhere and they're covering nearly the whole front line. Don't know. The gameplay around that currently is not really enjoyable. I guess with better seats, it gets somewhat better. But as I explained before, I would have liked slower planes. Maybe more. Nice kill here by fantyx onto the CV tank. North, his CV tank still relatively exposed. But if there's no CV coming in, that can be the... he can allow himself that a bit. V-24D AT flying around. They only have the Falanga ATGM though. Not the most amazing ATGM. for the fly around. T813 coming up as well. The ADB chilling in the rear. Buratino. In a good spot here. We have some TADUs and TADUDs. The 62M1 in the north. Slowly shooting up the Mudschützen. Ooh, ADGM coming in. TADBVK getting hit. The TDU and UD over here potentially could do some harm in the center. More BMP2s and BTRs coming around. But fantyx down 1000 points. I hope fantyx doesn't run into the old issue of the fantyx. MiG-31 not hitting this time around in the jet roulette. And the missile roulette, I mean. MiG, the Coupe. Not hitting it either though. The ECM of the MiG-31 is fantastic. T-72s being pushed back here. What's the BMP-2 down in the south? Is moving around. Estrella getting killed off. BMP-1 and T-72s. Around T-72 gets the kill. Tunguska moving up north. T-72M1 hit the Mudschützen in the forest. First coming around. EDUD hitting the Spezialaufklärer. BMP-2s. There's the Spezialaufklärer coming around here. BMP-2 going down. T-72M and T-72 moving slowly up. And we have a lot of TAD rolling forward now for fantyx. Fantyx now on the big push. ADU needs repairs. TADUD still potentially could move up. No recon here right now. For fantyx is an issue though. As his tanks just don't see the T-72s right now. Now he sees them though. TADUD gets a good shot, gets a good hit. And that T-72 of tmanplays is toast. Next one up for grabs. Not having recon here right now. Not having a Razvedka around. Big issue. This Razvedka back here should not be where it is. It should be up here somewhere. Giving some line of sight to fantyx's frontline forces, as his tanks were in a nice spot, but they just couldn't profit out of it. Well, ooh, he gets some supply cars in the rear. Conquers might retaliate though. TADUD gets only 1 damage, obviously, as it's 21 front armor. Can tank those Conquerors relatively nicely. It just doesn't want to get side-shotted. And it maybe should get the hell out of there, as eventually the Conquerors will whittle it down as well. Slow damage. ADB moving back. TADUD getting hit one more time. 3 damage. T-62M1 coming up. 72 is moving forward. BMP-2 under fire. The TADUD has to fall back. TADBVK versus Mudschützen in the north. We got the T-62M. There's some more Strelky coming up in from the north as well here. fantyx still only on 2 points. Hasn't found a way to break through the center yet. He's on another, but has all his tanks now reserved. If he has enough routes to repair them all, then he still for sure has a mighty force. The big question is, does he have that? Or does the Buratino eat up all his supplies here? Like, that's a pretty big risk. You really have to be careful with Buratino shots with the 79th. Especially as you use that many tanks and as we get into the late game here. 12 minutes remaining. fantyx will need to start taking somewhat soon here. Nicholas, thanks for the follow. Otherwise he will be in trouble. And yeah, TADBVK coming up. BMP-2 coming up as well. Conquerors moving to the front line. He should soon have the big amount of tanks that he needs for breakthrough here in the center. Some artillery with smoke, some mortars with smoke on either side could be quite helpful here as well to carving out battlefields. I'm surprised that we didn't see any mortars whatsoever. Only artillery we saw so far was the Buratino. Other artillery still not in a bright spot. At least not in 1v1s. They are pretty useful in team games. AoE is still a bit too low, I guess, to be consistent. Like, consistency is the thing that lacks on artillery a bit. Currently, damage mostly is rather fine. BTRs coming around. Conqueror is moving up to the front line as well. As we have some shots towards the south. Mi-24 VAA leading up the mod Aufklärer here, reducing them to ashes. As the T-80s are being set up again. T-80UD still down on 3 hit points though. The next Ural is coming up, but yeah, the Buratino is eating up all the supplies, not allowing the T-80UD to take the repairs here. And if you only force feed the Urals in there slowly, one by one, that T-80UD's repair will take forever, as the Buratino is nearly eating up, is eating up the whole supply here once more. Okay, the next Ural will do the job. Let's see how many more there are. BMP-2s going low, as the T-672's getting good kills there. And the CV is still alive for team and plays. Another CV in the north for team and plays, slowly trying to move in there. T-62 and T-80B VK might have a shot there again though. Still, team and plays need to be careful there. Yeah, for example, for that one, smoke play here from team and plays around it would be really helpful. And mortars are really dirt cheap, so having some of these around in these kind of battles can be really, really helpful. T-80B versus T-72 in the north. Ooh, T-55A. Yeah, that was not a good move. Might still get the... No, doesn't get the kill into the T-62 there, but T-62 doesn't get the kill back either. fantyx needs to react here. T-80BVK easily would snap this thing. And actually the T-55A does win the fight against the T-62 there. Quite fortunate for Team and Plays, who now can move the T-55 into a corner where fantyx can't see it, and with only 10 minutes remaining, every tick right now for Team and Plays is a long way, a good bit more of a way for fantyx to victory here, as fantyx really needs to push now. And yeah, that's the classic. We might run into a classic fantyx game here, where he potentially would win in a 50-minute time limit game, but he is a bit too slow at the 40-minute one. As he gets the T-55 this time around though with an SU-25. Coops get it from the rear. Coops firing onto the other side of the battlefield as well. MiG-31 though getting the hell out of there. Buratino now firing towards the SPW. MTLB on the fire. Getting at least a supply truck, but the Buratino really not doing much there. Really not worth its supply, especially considering that the supply that the Buratino did cost slowed down the potential next attack with the T-80Bs. T-80B still not repaired up there. Yeah, that Buratino shot was 100% not worth it. That 1,500 supply that went into that Buratino shot would have been so much better spent into repairs of T-80Bs. And that's really an important balance that I guess fantyx messed up here a bit. And at least he gets another T-72 kill here, but yeah, all his tanks are still hit up because he didn't have the supply to get them fully back up, and that's a major issue right now. The MP2 coming around, he's still moving forward. I mean, his T-80U still have a punch, for sure. One gets side-shotted here by a T-72 from the south though, which can retreat before the T-80BVK can kill it. And yeah, all these tanks being hit up is a big issue here right now for fantyx. Like, T-80UDs are mostly getting the efficiency out of being able to come back, hitting again with full hit points. They're not doing that right now. And that's mostly due to the Buratino eating up the supplies. Oh, SU-22 hitting really well there. Having the T-80UD down to 1 hit point, and there is no supply truck coming in, so fantyx really might be out of supply trucks here. And might be a bit early for that. I feel like you should, if you play Buratino in that deck, you should have 3 supply cards. We only see 2 here, I believe. And there's still a Ural with supplies. I'm not sure what that thing is doing. He gets to kill onto the CV of the enemy here. Gets to a +3. +3, 120 points per minute. Not enough at this stage anymore. It's gonna be close, but it's not quite gonna be enough if it stays on a +3. So fantyx actually needs to either push into Delta or push into the north, especially considering that another CV is on the way and actually might contest the center for a couple of more seconds. So yeah, fantyx needs a real breakthrough here and needs to see that Ural truck here in the rear that still has supplies. This one it is. And repair his tanks. Or with that. This TADUD fully repaired could do so much. As the C-72s are flying around. SU-25 coming in once more. C-72s holding the line nicely. Coop is reloading here. As tmanplays is holding the line here with his T-72s. Yeah, got a good, nice early advantage in points. Did get some nice pushes into the Charlie here, tmanplays, but is obviously now fighting for survival. DV in here is nice though, as we have some more BMP2s coming up, more TADBs. But yeah, not repairing this TADUD with the supply truck is a biggie. TADUD, another one coming up. Will be helpful obviously on the front line, but getting this one repaired would be even better. And that's a big issue. And yeah, really, Buratino in this deck is a tough thing to use in 1v1, as they're super expensive and they eat up your supply cards like there's no tomorrow. You only have 2 Ural cards usually, and then you have 1 card of MTLB if you use the Buratino. Your slots there are rather limited, but I believe you have to use all 3 supply cards, otherwise the Buratino is just gonna kill your resupply opportunities for the rest of your deck, as we see here now. And then Buratino shots, you have to really be careful on when and how you use them. This one down here, not worth it at all. Not worth it at all for fantyx here. That's the one up north or in the center. Could have been worth it. Okay, yeah, supply truck finally finds the TADUD. Starts to repair it back up. TADUD here, getting refueled and getting rearmed. Yes. The repair is slowly going on. T-Glass trying to hit the Mi-24D up there. T-62M1 hitting Spezialaufklärer BMP2, helping out as well. The TADBVK slowly moves forward. TADUDs here rolling in as well. But it's only 4 minutes remaining, and it seems to be another fantyx game. I'm pretty sure fantyx in the end of this game might be on the +3, even on the +5 potentially, maybe even on the +7, but I still once more feel like he might not have the points he needs to actually get the W here, within the 40-minute time limit. As he is on the hunt for the SPW here, like I'm pretty certain he will get this W in the center. C-72M might still get into the north, and might be able to contest that there. TADBVK board for the real deep dive now. But it's only 3 minutes 44. With 3 minutes 44 only and 900 points separating these two, you really need a lot of points. So yeah, it looks like tmanplays will get one step closer to becoming the monthly tournament champion. With a W here, potentially. TADUD engaging once more, dealing good damage. BRDM moving around with them. Coming closer, SPW. Actually under fire there. ATGMs out of Mi-24, not really doing much. The 24P here really getting bullied by the Coop. Olsa engaging around here. TADUD smoking off nicely. That's the TADU. Moves around as well. SPW behind the hill in cover, so we really need to push into that. And we've only 2 minutes 45, and tmanplays actually on a +2. There's just no chance fantyx gets anywhere near close enough points here. BRDM will make a run for it. Actually might get killed here. They're careful, and I don't believe there's a second CV in here, so yeah, that BRDM is absolute desperation mode. ADUD's moving forward towards the SPW, but tmanplays just once more. This time tmanplays for sure with the clever play. Last week we saw fantyx outsmarting his opponent in Leifens, but this week Human plays just with the smoother, with the cleverer play here in that game 1, and he will take that lead home most likely here, as fantyx is struggling to get more takes on. At least fantyx gets the North read, and hey, Colonel Shepard, thanks for the follow, thanks for the Twitch Prime, getting us one step closer to our 50 sub goal. Enable us for League Season 10 in Steel Division to get a lovely RAF head. Lovely, guys, lovely. Much appreciated. Whilst we have a coup going down over here. And yeah, Autostralky flying around. P62M, 72M here under fire, Mi-24D under fire. But really good usage of the 7th Panzer here by tmanplays early on. And yeah, plays it nicely now as well in that drawn out, exhausting defensive play, where it's just about whittling down the offensive resources of fantyx, killing off the recon units that fantyx was lacking quite a couple of times here, that just got sniped, making the tanks go blind, forcing the tanks to go back again until they are repaired, until they get reinforcements, and yep, just a really, really strong play here from tmanplays, which will get him game number 1. Yep, fantyx with the better KD, but that's not what we're searching for here. We're not playing destruction. Well played by tmanplays. Really, really well played. Whilst KDBVK doing a good job. And Buratino did get a couple of kills, but it was not worth the investment here. The Buratino was not the unit fantyx needed for this game. Another TADU and better supply for the TADUs had already on the front line. A TADU and a mortar would have done more. Like, that's the point. Like a mortar smoking off angles and doing a bit of pinning would have done more than the Buratino in this game, together with another TADU. Or, like, yeah, for the same price that you paid for the resupply, you could have also bought 2 Akatsias, which most likely would have done more as well. They don't quite feel as flashy anymore, but they still do something. That Buratino kill, yeah, not really worth it. Buratino's not a unit for death row. It's not not really a unit for, like, you, in some scenarios you can bring it around, but in most of the time Buratinos on death row are just not really welcome. So yeah, well played by tmanplays here, getting some decent kills here all around with his T-72s. Obviously nothing super flashy. I mean, that's Hudson did pretty well. Some of the T-72s, I mean, this one did well for it, killing 2 T-80s, but obviously, like, it's more about the cost efficiency of these things, holding off the line. Well played there, and yeah, let's go into game number 2 and see if tmanplays can clear it out and make it out with 2-0, or if fantyx can keep his chances